had a tough time during COVID. You have never written the board exam.
For the first good marks I got was in test number 7 because if you just revise your strengths, the chapters you like the most or love the most, it will automatically come to you. The day just before the exam, I tried to relax down, calm down, and I tried not to study as much as possible and rather look at solved examples. As I've experienced, like I don't go for long study hour sessions. I rather break it into smaller parts and give equally importance to breaks because it really prevents us from tiring out.
The first exam I got 35.7% and the next exam I got 30% in chemistry in the first two exams. So till midterm I was still getting 30%, and 30% is, not even pass, I would say. Instead of spending the same time for every subject, you should first get to know your strengths and weaknesses, and hopefully by the first exam in school you get to know that. But then organic chemistry hit me like a truck. I wouldn't remember any reactions. I went to the first unit test going, oh, I know all this, it's very easy, and then I come back with like none of the reactions which I thought I knew I could recall during the exam. So then just making your own, however bizarre those logics will be, but then if they work in one particular reaction, you should try to attempt it, because that's how you'll be able to remember. Yeah.
Hello, Vaibhav, and hello, Prasit. It's so nice to have you inspire my students. I had a tough time during COVID. You have never written the board exam. So it was the first, written exam that you were appearing. Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous because, it's not, first of all, it's not in your own school. You're usually comfortable throughout your school life. You've been writing in your own school. So going to another school to write exam, which is so much high in weightage, like 100% of the marks, what you're going to get is the final marks in your score, in the scorecard. So it was definitely, a nervous situation there.
Okay. And how much time did it take for you to settle down?
Yeah, I would say so 1 week before the exams, the nervousness started getting to me. But then after the first two exams, I think I got the flow. So it was all right after that.
Okay, same with Prasit. You did not write the 10th board exam. So the same question to you also.
Yes, ma'am. It was somewhat of a similar experience. Like the spontaneous test of school and of distributions, really set me up for the board exams. Like I was nervous in a way, but the spontaneity of this test settled me down for the big stage.
Oh, that means the mock tests had a real, good
Effects.
boost on you. Yeah, that's nice. And Vaibhav, I would like to ask you this question that, school also had a lot of tests. And did you all really appear those school tests, or was it optional?
So they were optional because a lot of entrance exams were happening here and there. So then some people could not, they couldn't make it mandatory. But for me, it was like, so first half of 12th, I was still, unsure about how I'm supposed to be studying for the boards, because the first two exams which took place in school did not happen. They didn't go well for me. So I wanted to continue writing tests. It also helped me a lot. So I tried my best not to miss any of them, because I knew that it'll be a slow progress and it won't be suddenly 2 months before boards I'll start getting really good marks. So all the full tests I wrote, it was very slow progression, but there was definitely progression. So I tried my best not to miss it.
Okay. And Prasit, if I ask you, the first full test in school or the first full test in your tuition was real low.
It was really low. It was
Yeah,
really low.
yeah.
Like it required like 5-6 of tests to get into the flow. Like I still remember the first good marks I got was in test number 7 probably. Like it was a very slow progress, but yeah, I got the hang of it at the last
Okay.
moment.
Okay, that means, slowly you started brushing your basics and all the stuff. Yes, that's good. So, Vaibhav, also you have the same opinion. So, another question I want to ask you all is that, how did you go ahead preparing for your chemistry, board exam? Did you tackle it chapter wise, or did you attack 2, 3 chapters at the same time? And then how was it?
So
Vaibhav?
in my situation, it was till 10th grade, I would say I didn't ever have to think about how I'm supposed to be studying a particular subject or how I'm supposed to tackle something. It, I would say it came naturally, but there was not much to do till 10th. So I think to majority of the people, it came naturally. They didn't have to, overthink about how you're supposed to study. But then after COVID, after we started getting offline, then it was like a compulsion that you must study because 10th and 11th, there was no compulsion to study. You're just sitting at home doing whatever you want. So in 12th when it started getting then the pace also increased a lot because in 12th you have both, so they try to finish the syllabus early. So then I after the first two exams I tried to get it off my report card. The first exam I got 35.7% and the next exam I got 30% in chemistry in the first two exams. So till midterm I was still getting 30%, and 30% is not even pass, I would say. So so then I'm like, okay, I got to switch some gears in my system, and I need to think about how I'm actually preparing for the exams and the minute details of every single chapter, and basically make a master plan of how I'm supposed to do this. So I would say instead of spending the same time for every subject, you should first get to know your strengths and weaknesses, and hopefully by the first exam in school you get to know that, and then after that spend more time on your weaknesses and strengths, though as it's a strength you don't have to do much. So then after that I started thinking about how to study. Then chemistry I started focusing on more, and then at the end of it, chemistry are my highest marks in both, so I guess that worked out.
Okay, so your weakness was organic chemistry, numerical.
Yeah, organic.
Acha, acha.
Yeah,
So organic chemistry part was what you started working on immediately.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And Prasid, the same thing to you. Like, what advice would you give to the students, upcoming students? Like, attack chapter wise, first your weaknesses and then your strengths. Yes.
The way I approached was I did section wise.
Oh,
So at the starting of the year, I felt organic chemistry was easier to me, so I started doing organic first. And I at first I started neglecting physical chemistry because I was not good at it. So by the time as time went by, I realized like I should focus on my weaknesses first because the strengths are also the stuff I like doing. So it will happen automatically, and I will get the hang of it very easily. So it's better to focus on weaknesses first because if you just revise your strengths, the chapters you like the most or love the most, it will automatically come to you. Like it's easier that way, and it's better also.
okay. And Vaibhav, would you advise writing as many single chapter tests as possible or as many full tests as possible? Or both equal?
Yeah, I wouldn't say equal, but I would recommend strategizing it in such a way. Yeah, as soon as you finish the chapter, first of all, revise the chapter again because your brain isn't capable of remembering organic chemistry just by one revision, or maybe set a special few which can somehow do that. But then doing chapter-wise tests as soon as the chapter is over, like the day you finish it, just write one chapter-wise test. Don't put too much thought of how you did or what went wrong. But then just attempt questions, because as soon as you're faced with questions, then your brain is like, okay, I need to remember this. It's not like I can just read it once and forget it. So, and then writing full tests as soon as, obviously, like 5 months before boards, and group tests, like multiple chapters at the same time, like all the organic chapters at once. That can be like one test because organic gets over pretty early in the year. So it'd be a combination, but also depending on how strong and weak your subject and chapters are. So if it's a weak chapter, then write more subject-wise tests, chapter-wise tests, and then maybe get like group tests.
Okay. And Prasid, if I change the question, like how much time did you need to complete chemistry? I mean, really, I mean, just before I mean to say before the board exam, you had 2 days, 3 days before the board exam?
Yes, ma'am. Like the chapters like coordination and all, it was not over in the school itself and in the tuition for me. So those two chapters were the chapters which I couldn't give much more time, but still I started doing it, and somehow it worked out.
Okay. So how many
Yeah,
hours
and
did
like
you study before the chemistry board exam?
the holidays I had, like I studied like probably 8-9 hours a day, but the day just
Wow.
before the exam, I tried to relax down, calm down, and I tried not to study as much as possible and rather look at solved examples. That really helped me for the exam. It's
Okay.
better. Like I went through the 10 years solved papers and all for the last day of the exam.
Okay. Okay. And Vaibhav, the same thing is that just before the board exam, chemistry board exam, how many hours did you
Yeah.
put? More hours, less hours? How do the students go about?
So I would say
Because it is
I don't
personalized.
really. Yeah, it is personalized, and I wouldn't say like put like a bracket to it, like, oh, you have to study 10 hours like 2 days before or anything like that. It depends on how well you're prepared and how confident you are. If you're not confident, then as Prasit said, do, previous year questions, then that will build up your confidence because your brain will start automatically, calling back all that information and putting it to you, and, you'll be able to confidently attempt those questions. But then the amount you should study is how much is depending on how much hard work you've put in till then.
Yeah, right.
So yeah.
Okay. And going to the next question, Prasit, organic chemistry is a favorite of yours, and you wouldn't mind spending a lot of time. But see, when you studied, is it the textbook in front of you and your eyes are running through the lines? How did you, go about?
I followed the same technique for all the subjects I read. Like I opened the textbook, I divided the chapters into section wise, and I did that parts in a stipulated time. And along with I made running notes, and it helped me memorizing stuff because as I'm writing writing, it helps me memorize stuff better. And as you know, like if we write something, it stays with us longer for a longer period of time.
Okay. So that means you did not run your eyes through the lines, but you rather made your own notes. And that
Yes, rather made my own.
all the chapters notes have you prepared, or only organic chemistry?
Organic chemistry and bit of physical chemistry, like not all of them, but yes, majority of organic chemistry. I made like tons of them.
Yes, I
They were
understand.
not pretty, but yes, it was manageable.
Okay, okay. So everyone, mostly students write organic chemistry and practice, isn't it? Is it the same for
Yes.
inorganic chemistry, Weber? No. That's
So actually, I have a very interesting view on this. It's that till now, till 12th, till 11th and 12th, I would just read the chapters and that would suffice. It wouldn't, I wouldn't require to write all the data of the chapter. But then organic chemistry hit me like a truck. It was I wouldn't remember any reactions. I went to the first unit test going, oh, I know all this. It's very, easy, and then I come back with like none of the reactions which I thought I knew I could recall during the exam. So then what I did is I made an investment in a whiteboard. Now that whiteboard, it would have seen me write the same reaction like tens of times.
oh,
And it was like every single time I have to do organic chemistry, I'll take out that whiteboard and my notes, and I'll see a reaction, I'll remember it, and then I'll hide it, and then I'll write it, and then write it 2 3 times, and then randomly I'll be studying some other reactions, and then I'll be like, oh, what was that reaction, and I'll erase the current reaction and write it again. So reactions was something which I had a huge problem with, as you can understand. But that way, and then also trying to make your own logic behind the reaction, like, oh, this H2O splits into HNOH, and then this goes here, this goes there. So those logics helped a lot in remembering reactions. Then, just making your own, however bizarre those logics will be, but then if they work in a one particular reaction, you should try to attempt it because that's how you'll be able to remember reactions, especially in organic chemistry. So
oh,
the whiteboard was the best investment for my chemistry preparation.
that's wonderful to hear. A good suggestion for the juniors also. Yes, Prasit. And again, next thing is that what about the inorganic part, the D block, D and F block, and oh,
The majority of inorganic parts, the NCERT textbooks, to be frank, are a bit boring if you read line wise, but it's important really. So the way I went for inorganic chemistry was just looking at the previous questions, the type of questions, and I rather read it question wise rather than the full content. Like the parts which are important most, and I covered all the topics, but I focus on the parts which are more important.
I see. That means only question answers, not line by line of the textbook. Not,
I did line by line, but I
not
majorly.
parts. Okay, true confessions. I'm having a lot of true confessions. Yes, Vaibhav, and what about you?
Yeah, it was this like, exactly the same. It was I read the chapter maybe once or twice, and I tried to make some logic out of what's happening, but then I couldn't end up doing that. So then I also went with previous year questions and important questions.
Okay, okay. That's a very good piece of advice you both have given. And yes, Vaibhav, you're going for your engineering. Prasit, also you're going for an engineering. So God bless you. Be successful engineers, do some good work for yourself as well as for everyone else, and make them happy. All right. Thank you so much for your time. And but one last advice. Let me see, whose advice is the best and hits the juniors a lot. Yes, first Vaibhav.
Okay, so most people in 11th and 12th are handling uh, competitive exams and boards at the same time. And the parents will be like, okay, just do boards properly. Some of the parents end up not, pressurizing the kids, which is a really good thing. But then what happens is you yourself don't have someone to check on you. Okay, are you preparing for both at the same time? Or, when are you shifting your focus? Before boards, are you shifting your focus towards boards or still doing competitive preparation? Because obviously there is overlapping of syllabuses, but then it ends up, the level of difficulty ends up being different. So definitely boards will help you a lot for your competitives because they will clear your basics of 12th grade. But then 11th grade chapters are something what you should give a lot of importance to in the start of your 12th grade, because that's the time you can actually revise 11th, because later on it becomes a last minute 11th chapter revision, so which is not the most productive. So revising your 11th in the start of your 12th and then shifting your focus to boards is something what worked for me. And then also revising maths, because 11th and 12th math is something what everyone finds problematic. That doing that every single day, maths is a must every single day, along with chemistry, the theory part. So stuff which you think you may forget, just make a list of it and then do that checklist every day or every 2 days. And then you'll be, basically sorted for chemistry and maths. And then physics, though, I think NCRT is helpful.
Oh, and Prasit, last minute of advice. Last minute advice.
So, ma'am, as I realized and as I've experienced, like I don't go for long study hour sessions. I rather break it into smaller parts and give equally importance to breaks because it really prevents us from tiring out, and as we tire out, we tend to gather less information from the books. So I went with smaller study sessions, but quantity-wise, more of them. So that's how I approach with it. So I was not easily tired, and I was still having the energy to continue with it. And as Vaibhav said, doing maths regularly is important, and it's very important. Like I have also done at least 10-15 sums per day to just get the hang of it and revise all the things in a go. Yes.
Nice, nice. Wonderfully spoken, both of you. I really enjoyed this chit chat session with both of you, and God bless both of you.